Hi everyone, this is Ichiro Fujisaki. I'm sorry that I can't be with you. On this security issues, I'll try to discuss with you how I look at it. If you ask any ambassador, Ambassador Emmanuel or Ambassador Yamada, how's the Japan-US relations, they'll always say, it has never been better. That's cliche. Or maybe in the manual, because I've been saying that as well. But today it's true that it's very good. But what's important for us is that will it be so in the future too? Let's try to discuss that. Of course, its predictions are not easy. I know that Yogi Berra of New York Giants said it's tough to make predictions, especially about the future. So it's not difficult, but as I say, I'm not an incumbent ambassador, so I can say anything. I said when I retired, now I can say anything. And my wife said, Ichiro, no one cares anymore. So it's my just own observation. Three fronts: security issues, economic issues, and people to people. On security issues, Japan is the only country surrounded by Russia, North Korea, and China. All are important countries, but especially China is important because that's the #1 trading partner for us. But security-wise, they are not so easy. Russia has been occupying our northern territory for 79 years, and 2 years ago, they invaded Ukraine. North Korea has launched nearly 60 missiles towards Japan Sea, ballistic missiles. And 2 years ago, and last year, 22, both are record high. You know how it is like that ballistic missiles are launched towards your territory. So people are always frightened. Third, China. They are coming into our territorial water of Senkaku because they claim that it's their island. And every day, almost every day, they come into contiguous water. That's 2 times of territorial water, 24 nautical miles. And 3 times a month, they come into our territorial water itself, the governmental ships. Because of these, that has been going on for about 13 years now. And because of that, Japanese people's psychology, thinking towards security has totally changed. When Prime Minister Kishida announced 3 things, there was very little repercussion. One, he said he'll double defense spending ratio versus GDP. That's from 1% to 2% level in 5 years to NATO level. Second, he said Japan will acquire second strike capability by purchasing 400 Tomahawks from US. Third, establish joint command with the United States in Japan. I think years ago, a lot of demonstrations or criticisms from media, but very little now because of that. And Japanese are very security minded now. And for United States as well, Japan's importance has gained a lot because of those countries, not rule-based countries' behavior in South China Sea or in other places. So Japan is the only place where United States has mobile forces like Navy or Marines or Air Force. So Japan is becoming all the more important. I think that relations will not change unless those countries around us change attitude totally and become what they call themselves, People's Democratic Republic or whatever, then they may change. But there's, in foreseeable future, there's no sign of that. So I think Japan-US relations will be fortified, has to be fortified. Economic relations, it's pretty good now. No frictions. But we still remember what has happened 40 years ago. Japan bashing, automobile and semiconductor and those issues. Because at that time, 70% of U.S. trade deficit was coming from trade with Japan. So there was a lot of anger in the United States. And Japanese companies, Japanese government changed the strategy from exporting to investments. From 2019 on, Japan remains #1 investor into United States. Japan is making more automobiles in United States than exporting. We export 1.5 million cars directly and 1.2 through Mexico, but we manufacture 2.8 million cars in 2022 in United States, more than exporting. So the situation has totally changed. Semiconductor, yes, in 1988, Japan's share of semiconductor in the world reached over 50%, and that alarmed the United States. That was memory semiconductor, but now it's totally changed with logic computer, which would process information, calculate, and it's not only memory, it's the data processing. So it's not done by one country. We still are 50% producer of materials like silicon wafers, but equipments are made in United States and Holland and those other countries. And intellectual property rights are kept with IBM and Devier and those companies. And the top manufacturer of very advanced level, 2 nano or whatever, is Taiwan's TSMC. So it's sort of division of labor, materials, equipments, and the foundries, the last manufacturers. So no one country is dominating like in back in 1980s. And as such, experts, I asked many experts and professionals, and they tell me that even if our economy would pick up or our semiconductor would start advancing, that kind of division of labor will never cease to exist. They will remain. So we will not be a sort of American would be alarmed by Japanese industries anymore. That will not happen. Now, we have looked at security issues and economic issues. Let's look at people to people. According to Gallup in 2022, we remain as next only to Great Britain, Canada, Great Britain, and France. I was a bit surprised with France coming up as #3, but because I experienced the Iraq War. But it's good that United States likes France, and we are now had great Olympic Games as well. But Japan is almost same level as those countries, and I think it's very important, and we have to be proud of that, because I think 28 chapters of Japan's societies in the United States, 38, I'm sorry, and 28 in Japan. We have been sort of promoting that, and we can be proud of what we have been doing. Lastly, I'll just touch upon the U.S. elections. I know that it's not subject, but a lot of people have interest in it. Japanese media has been writing that Moshitora or Hobotora, and some American media ridicule those words. That means if Mr. Trump comes back, what would happen? I think I've been always saying that American election is like a Christmas gift. You don't say anything till the day, and on the day you open the box and cry out, "Oh, this is just how I want it." That's the only thing we can do, because it's Americans who elect your president, and we are going to do, and we will do, great with those new president anyway. So to say sort of worry and all that is, I think, nonsense. And some Japanese media also say that Mr. Abe was great in dealing with Mr. Trump, but how's other politicians, can they do that? I say that's bullshit. I'm sorry to use those dirty slangs, but because we know that by doing three things, we can have great relations. One, we don't try to preach American president what democracy is, like some European leaders did. Second, we try to make one-on-one relations like Abe-san did. Third, we don't try to ask things too much, and try to do our homework before being asked. I think we're looking forward to working with new president, whether it's Democrat or whether it's Republican. I'm sure that we'll have great relations. And lastly, really lastly, the meeting in Portland, I participated a little, but that was great, your hospitality. So I'm very grateful to that. And in 2 years, we'll have one in Fukuoka. We hope that all of you will come and we'll have great time in Kyushu, Fukuoka. This meeting of NAJAS and NAJAS. Thank you very much. Have the rest of good time in Portland. Bye-bye.